This is our History of Marine Science project. We will be explaining all of the marine history from the year 2000 to present time. Main marine discoveries. A new species of Pacific octopus was found in the waters of Prince William Sound, Alaska. It is called the frilled giant Pacific octopus and was found in the year 2018. Researchers found the world's first known manta ray nursery house in the Flower Garden Banks and National Marine Sanctuary off the coast of Texas. This was found in the year 2018. A new species of shark was found in the Gulf of Mexico and western Atlantic Ocean. It is called Genie's dogfish and is a deep-sea shark with large blue and green eyes. This shark was found in 2018. Scientists found a secret garden in the Atlantic. This garden is a coral reef that was found off the coast of South Carolina. This coral reef is estimated to be 85 miles long, and before this exploration, it was never known of. It was found in the year 2018. Interesting facts. In 2016, we learned that the Greenland shark is the oldest vertebrate, an animal with a backbone, on the planet, reaching an unimaginable age of about 400 years old. According to the World Register of Marine Species, also known as WORMS, there are currently at least 226,408 named marine species. This was found in the year 2014. Today, more ocean is protected than any other time in history. Somewhere between 5 and 7.5% of the ocean is protected with wide variety and management levels. Humans aren't the only animals that carry disease. Ocean diseases are growing a threat to several species, and ecosystems have become less resilient due to warming waters, pollution, and other stressors. Main marine organizations. Main marine organizations/characters.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. One of the most widespread groups in the country is definitely the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They serve to conserve and manage all habitats and all ecosystems, from as far left as California to as far right as Maine. They themselves acknowledge that they're more well known for land preservation, but as of recently, the oceans have needed much more assistance. So they have designated an innumerable amount of protected areas and formed countless coastal programs, and they're still able to provide recreation to people. The U.S. Geological Survey was created in about 1879. At first, it wasn't meant for oceanic exploration. However, in time, they branched out to virtually every natural science imaginable. Named the National Marine, Coastal, and Geology Program, this branch of the USGS provided substantial research on lots of topics ranging from climate change, impacts to ocean minerals, to seafloor mappings, and more. They also pinpoint many hazards that could greatly and or negatively affect the sea. The Marine Conservation Biology Institute was formed in 1996. From the get-go, this institute devoted itself to fighting against various hazards and threats to our oceans and their inhabitants. The greatest desire of this organization is to create what they call blue parks, which would essentially be like heavy protected ecosystems to preserve and to protect and further marine diversity. They directly address how you should do these things and are working alongside many other organizations to get it accomplished. The National Association of Marine Laboratories is composed of 3 regional associations, those being the Northeast, the South, and the West. The NAML assumes the responsibility of supporting marine research and educating people in related issues like conservation of resources, for example. It started out as just a Southern focus group in 1988, but over time they expanded to cover all the United States. And it strives to provide backing for plenty of non-profit laboratories that are currently studying the ocean and its ecosystems. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This is an immensely multi-purposed organization dealing with just about everything that has to do with the ocean and the atmosphere. One of its goals since it was established in 1970 has been to develop technology continuously to ease the process of researching and make information more accessible to those doing so. It's partnered up with about 16 institutions that grant degrees to help prepare younger generations to take up their mantle.
Routes discovered.
So the Titanic was found 370 miles south of the coast of Newfoundland, Canada in 1985. So although it was found in 1985, a lot of the exploration of it didn't begin until the 2000s. So in 2005, there was a manned dive exploration with submersibles down to the wreck. And now, nearly 14 years later, in 2019, there was another exploration dive, and scientists that went down say that at the rate that the ship is deteriorating, that there may be no shipwreck by the year 2030. So the Mariana Trench is located in the Pacific Ocean near the island of Guam, and the trench is described to be a crescent-shaped scar in Earth. It is the deepest part of the ocean. It's 1,500 miles long, 43 miles wide, and 7 miles deep. So no one has ever been all the way down into the trench. But in 2011, an expedition crew dove into the trench using modern submersibles, and later in 2012, a director named James Cameron, he became the first person to send his submersible down into the trench and get the 7 miles deep. So Seabed 2030 was something that was announced in 2017, and what it's going to do is it's going to be able to map the entire ocean floor by the year 2030. And the purpose of this is that scientists are going to have much more knowledge and understanding of how the ocean floor is shaped and built, and this is going to help with the research and exploration of the ocean.
The biggest explorations. This is Rose Savage, and on her expedition, it became widely known across the world. She was the first woman to row solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 2005. She did this again in 2007, but this time in the Pacific Ocean. Her boat capsized 3 times in under 24 hours, which resulted in the Coast Guard needing to airlift her to safety. 2008, once her boat was recovered, she continued from the Golden Gate Bridge to Hawaii, and that took her a total of 99 days. In 2010, she made landfall in Papua New Guinea. It took her a total of 250 days to cross the 8,000 miles of the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench Expedition. This expedition's crew returned to the Mariana Trench, but this time in a solo modernized submersible. Some of the new discoveries that resulted from this expedition were a single-celled amoeba that measured an incredible 4 inches in diameter. Another discovery that scientists concluded was that this trench plays a crucial and larger role in the Earth's chemistry and climate than previously thought of before. Expedition Aquarius. Aquarius was designed by Perry Submarine Builders of Florida in 1986. It was not put into effect until the late 1990s and the early 2000s. Aquarius is an undersea habitat and laboratory that is used to aid in the research of coastal and oceanic resources. It's even been used to train astronauts and host teams of scientists to carry out technological research. It's located off the Florida Keys, and in 2001, NASA sent out aquanauts to Aquarius to simulate a space mission. Southeastern U.S. Deep Sea Expedition. This expedition was 2 parts, and it was on the NOAA Okeanos Explorer ship. The purpose of this expedition was to gain more information about the poorly misunderstood deepwater areas. The first part took place in October, and it included a 24-day mapping system using the ship's deepwater mapping. The second part used the NOAA's dual-bodied ROV, which was capable of diving more than 6,000 meters. The purpose of this part of the mission was to gain more information about the seafloor and the midwater habitats. Tools used. This is the Deep Sea Challenger. The Deep Sea Challenger was a deep-sea submersible which incorporated unique structural engineering and new ways of an ultra-small stereoscopic camera which was capable of withstanding the pressures of the Mariana Trench. It was able to explore the bottom of the seafloor of the Mariana Trench for several hours, and the pilot descended 35,000 feet, and he was fitted with an interior of just 43 inches wide. This solo submersible was used in the expedition of the Mariana Trench. The Underwater Laboratory. The Underwater Laboratory was the Aquarius habitat, and it is the only undersea laboratory in the world as of today. It was opened by the NOAA. It was reconditioned in 1996, and it was remodeled in 1997. It was built in 1986, and it was deployed to the U.S. Virgin Islands, but now stands off Key Largo. It is 62 feet below the surface, and it is an ambient pressure habitat. This basically means that the inside pressure is the same as the surrounding water pressure. The NOAA Okeanos Explorer. This ship was the only federal vessel dedicated to exploring the largely unknown ocean, and it was to gain knowledge. This is a 220-foot long vessel, and it included mapping and site characterization. It was used in several explorations in the 2000s, and it is still in use today. More specifically, it was used in the southeastern U.S. Deep Sea Expedition. Apollo Sedna. This ship was only 23 feet long, and it was 6 feet wide, so you can imagine it's kind of small, and it was specifically designed for a long Pacific route, and Ross Savage used this ship on her journey across the Pacific Ocean.
The AutoSub, which was launched in the year 2000 and was developed by Southampton Oceanography Center, launches an automatic robotic vehicle to study the oceans. The robotic submarine is equipped with an array of scientific sensors and is capable of carrying out pre-programmed missions. Because the vehicle is completely self-contained, it is capable of traveling to regions of the ocean that were previously inaccessible to man. An international scientific team aimed to map out the entire ocean floor by 2030. The project consists of a dozen tracking ships outfitted with advanced multi-beam bathymetry technology. Seabed 2030 will fill in the considerable gaps in our knowledge of this massive region, of which less than 15% has been mapped in detail. System 001 is a passive collection apparatus that works by moving in harmony with the ocean's currents, taking advantage of the water's circular movement patterns, called gyres, that cause the trash to accumulate in the first place. It's also the largest accumulation zone of the ocean plastics in the world. The U-shaped floater that is 600 meters long and features a 3-meter tapered skirt, the system moves with the current faster than the plastic. This allows it to become trapped in the center of the system.